Hey, Tommy.
Hey, Chad, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, buddy. I mean, I'm kind of. I guess I'll just tell you the truth. I'm in the pool.
Living large, like Nickelback does, huh?
Yeah. The last interview I just did was I think it was Tucson, and but that one was like I had to be on camera for that one, so just sort of tilted up a little bit. like,
Yeah, I was told no Zoom on this one. I figured there was something going on.
What? No. We can no, we can Zoom. Of course, we can Zoom.
No, man, nah. We'll go ahead and go from here, man. But hey,
Okay.
did you think back in 1995 when Nickelback recorded that first demo that almost 30 years later, you guys would still be going strong with 10 studio albums under your belt?
It sounds so cool when you say it. Like it sounds so badass when you put it that way. No. Like you kind of dream of that. Like you hope that, oh God, please let me strum a guitar and scream into a microphone for a living because because manual labor sucks.
I'm with you, man. But with that many records and that many great songs, you guys have a heck of a time deciding what goes into the list?
That is a tough one. Wow, insightful. Yeah, like you got to sneak a couple from the new. Like anytime you got a new record, so there's always going to be the rock song from the new record, like your first single that's going on there, and hopefully somebody knows. Hopefully somebody's singing it back to you. And like we've got 33 singles or some damn thing. I don't know what the hell it is, but there's I can't sing all that in one night.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell I'm singing all that. And if I do, I ain't playing the next night.
There you go, man.
I know it's tricky. You gotta sort of put in stuff that. And you don't want to do the same set every single night because as soon as the fans know, it's like they know what's coming next. Like you got to chuck a curveball in there once in a while, right? So you just grab some weird album cut, from an older record, and just sort of chuck that in there and see the reaction. Or it might just be something. It's not typically something that there is rarely self-indulgence where like peak artists are going to come to me is like, hey, I really want to play a song tonight. And I'm like, all right, whatever you want to do. Like, sure, just back in there, whatever. And the other thing is if I'm drinking Jeagerbombs,
yeah,
the Red Bull, it's like, oh my God, it's not the booze that gets you. It's the caffeine. It's just like, oh. And then the boys know when I start getting a little bit buzzed on stage because I'll look down and go, well, there's only 4 songs left, boys. And I don't feel like getting off stage yet. So, and I'll look over, and Ryan's like, oh, he's going to call an audible. And I'm like, here it comes. And then I'll just start I'll be like, I don't want to get off stage yet. Like, honestly, I don't want to get off stage. So, like, what do you want to do? Let's do something. And he's like, all right. And I could see my brother going, and Mike looks over me, and I'm like, oh, you had something on Netflix you wanted to watch, huh? That's not happening.
Now, one of the coolest things about being in bands and even the road crew are the road stories. I know you guys have a million of them because you guys have a blast every night, but you got maybe one or two that's on the top of your mind you could share legally?
Yeah, I can share a story. I can't tell you what we did, but... So a million years ago, I was on this thing called the MTV Campus Invasion Tour, and I meet these 3 beautiful ladies backstage, and they were cheerleaders, and they were on they were scholarship, like they were on a half ride, I think, in Ohio, and I talked them into coming with me to where did we go? We went to Detroit was the next show, I think.
Okay.
And I gave him my credit card the next day, and I had to go do sound check. And I said, hey, I want you guys to do something for me. I said, hey, I want you to go to like a mall or something. Here, take my credit card, and I want you to come back dressed up like schoolgirls. The mini skirts and the knee high socks and the sort of Britney Spears sort of thing. Yeah, I was half serious, but they did it. Like they actually went and they did it, and they came back, and I kept them for a week, and all the opening acts were just like, dude, do you seriously have 3 cheerleaders with you on the road right now? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, they keep wanting to come to the next city and the next city and the next city. So like, until I got to get these ladies a plane ride home, they can stay with me as long as they want. And yeah, we had a ton of fun. It was crazy.
Oh, I bet. I thought you were going to tell me, that credit card kept going. I had to call and cancel it.
Exactly.
Man, congrats on another great album, man. Get Rollin's very strong, and it feels like there's something on it for everyone. I
mean, that's kind of the deal. But I mean, it's not really. It's just more like it's like whatever you're feeling. Like I just don't want to write the same thing over and over and over again. When we get like, I don't want to have a record that just sounds the same from start to finish. I want it to be, I want everything to ebb and flow. Like I want there to be these, climactic moments. Like San Quentin, aggressive. And then I want some riffage. But I want to kind of like break out some more melodic stuff, and I want to go down memory lane, with Those Days. And a lot of people go, well, isn't Those Days just, pretty much Photograph Part 2? It's not really. It actually isn't, because Photograph is really about the three Hannah boys, myself and my brother and Ryan Peake.
Yeah.
That's autobiographic. That's about us growing up in a small town called Hannah in a province called Alberta, in the middle of Canada. But those days is about growing up at a certain time. It's very circa, I don't know, 88, something like that. Like, and I once we started doing this thing, because I spit out this line and I went, remember, I literally said, remember when the streetlights came on and we had to be home?
Yeah.
And Peake looks at me and goes, yeah. And I go, no, I think that should be the first line of the song. And then it should be remember, 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 and just go down this list of things.
Yeah.
And then in the chorus, we get more general, and we just do more of a general theme and just talk about, like, growing up in that era. That one just takes me right back.
Well, it's a great song, and it took me back, because we're close in age. It was like listening to my teenage years back to me again,
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. I love that.
It's just such a great song, and I love how you are able to take people back to places like that. That's really an art form you've got, man.
Music's powerful that way, What's the other one they say, like a smell can do it too? You smell something, it's just like, it'll just take you right back to...
Yeah.
It could be like a perfume a girlfriend used to wear. Like, you could be walking through, like, you could literally be walking through a concert and just be like, oof, oh my God, that just took me to, all the way down. And songs do it. Songs are very powerful. The auditory senses are very powerful in that way as well. Yeah. And it'll just take you right back there. And all of a sudden you're just transported back there. It's a wonderful, powerful feeling. And if you do it right, you guide somebody into good memories. Right.
It's a great song, and it took me a lot of places. I was like, God, it sounds like we went to the same school or something, All the same movies, songs, everything, man. I was like, oh my gosh. Hey, man, Skinny Little Missy's probably my favorite on the album. Dude, that's a ripping solo on that one.
Oh, well, that one's not me.
No,
it's not me. That's a buddy doing that one. I hate playing guitar solos because I've got, I just feel like my bag of tricks has been a little exhausted. And it's like, well, everyone's heard, they just, there's a Chad solo coming. So I fired it over to a friend. I said, hey, you want to play on it too? He's like, hell yeah, I want to play on it too. And I said, what about this one? You dig this? He's like, dude, I'll send this back to you in like an hour and a half. You tell me what you think. And he fired it back. I was like, damn, dude, his name's Ian Thornley. He's just a monster. And yeah, that's just him pissing around. that's very little. That's very little effort on his behalf that I can tell.
So I guess Skinny Little Missy won't be inaudible near the end of the set. Oh no. Man. I've seen you guys several times, man, and you have some fine Gibson Les Pauls and Paul Reed Smith guitars, but I know when you're writing, it could be an acoustic, it could be a piano, it could be an electric. Is there an instrument that's like that one? It seems like when you grab that one, magic just happens every time.
Kind Kind of. Yeah, there's one acoustic that it really just sings. It's like orchestral when you play it. And I've written a bunch of stuff like when I, Photograph, Rockstar, Saving Me, the intro for Saving Me. Like this thing's, she's been around the block. And yeah, like, again, very insightful. Sometimes you'll pick up an instrument, it's just dead. It's just lifeless. There's nothing there, and it doesn't have any stories. And then sometimes you'll pick something up, and it's just like, it wants to talk to you. And, and you start talking back, right? And then you start singing something, and the next thing you know, you're heading down this path, and it's like, ooh, this is good. Somebody hit record here quick. 'Cause it's a cool feeling. It really is.
Now, bear with me on this one. I'm going to attempt to right a wrong. Over the years, Nickelback has taken some negative heat, but I'd like to take a moment to put that to rest. You cool with that?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's simple. Nickelback is a great band. It's not your fault you wrote a ton of hit songs that were not just on rock radio, but on pop, CHR, about every format there was. Everybody was playing Nickelback at one time and still are. But during that time, and this is the other thing that's not your fault, about every third song on the radio, there was this time where either it was you guys or a bunch of bands trying to sound like Nickelback. Other labels were signing bands and trying to be like you because other labels wanted a Nickelback. So that's who I blame for all that negativity. Does that make sense?
I feel like Good Will Hunting right now. I feel like you're Robin Williams, and you just keep telling me it's not my fault.
It's not. I was like, why are people getting on Nickelback? You ever seen them? They're great, man. It's a fun time.
Well, that's really cool. I'm glad it's really, really sweet of you to say that. It's awesome. Yeah, but I mean, like, if there's bands I don't want to listen to on the radio, and I want to change the station to, and I do every single time. But thank God those guys stay in their lane, and I don't have to switch 3 times to get away from them. And I think there was a moment, and it was more than it was a decade where we were kind of tough to get away from. And if you didn't care for the band, or you didn't care for my voice, or whatever it was, we made it tough to get away from. And you can piss some people off, but again, not my fault. I was just sitting here writing songs. So I'm not going to apologize for.
No, you don't have to, because it's a great band. I just, how it is in America. Sometimes people just want to take people down because they're doing good. But there were a lot of bands that labels were signing that were, I goes, we already have Nickelback. Let them be their thing. We don't need these other bands. And they're all gone.
Yeah. And then people trying to get away from us are like, great, there's 6 more coming down the pipeline.
Hey, now, one of my top 10 shows of all time, it was near the Dark Horse Run. You guys had, I think, 3 Days Grace and Buck Cherry with you. About 45 minutes into the set, you guys start walking down that catwalk, and I'm thinking, these guys couldn't be done yet. They couldn't be taking a bow. And then I noticed at the end, the stage flipped over. There's a drum kit on there. Guys start popping out, setting up mic stands and stools. By the time you get to the end, there's guys handing you guitars, and you say, hey, we're going to turn this place into a bar. And I watched you turn a 10,000-seater into basically a pub. You guys played Friends in Low Places, got everybody singing every word. But my favorite part was when the guys came underneath the stage with the backpacks and the Jeagerbombs shots, and you said, you want to do a shot? And that was the coolest thing I've seen at a show, man.
See, I'm not supposed to do the Jeagerbombs anymore because my girl gets mad at me because she knows if she sees me doing, I won't go to bed. Right. I won't go to bed. And I swear to God, and no one's going to believe me, I don't do cocaine. I don't know if you've heard any of our tunes before, but man, I like to drink.
There's a couple in there.
Yeah. And she's like, so if she sees any energy drinks anywhere near me, she's like, no. I'm like, what? I want a Jegerbomb. She's like, no. She's like, I've seen this movie too many times, and I just won't go to bed. Right? I just won't. I mean, I got 4 hours last night, so it's not too bad.
That's
all right. Yeah, you'll notice in the, the sound of my voice, like, Chad's really chill right now. But the second you just said this, I don't know what it was, but as soon as you even just said it, I was like, oh, my mouth watered, and I'm like, oh, I want a Jeagerbomb.
No, that was so cool when those dudes came out. He goes, I'm not kidding, man. You want a shot? Show them your ID. And they're shooting people in the mouth. I'm going, I'd like to steal that idea. That was great, man. It really was. And it was a fun show, man. That's one thing I like about Nickelback shows. They're fun.
Oh, dude, you're such a sweetheart. So that mechanism that turns the stage over,
yeah,
that had a drum kit bolted to it,
yeah.
The band's like, let's sell this thing. We're never going to use this gag again. Let's just get rid of this thing. And I was like, no, and I am really like, I am nostalgic that way too. And I'm like, no, I can't. They're like, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, just truck it to my house.
Was it out by the pool right now?
I've got that stupid thing here in my house, and it turns over. And I don't know. I've got to employ that somewhere around here. Like, I got to come up with an idea, like how I'm gonna just somehow incorporate this thing. Like, watch this. Just hit a button, and there's like, I don't know what it would be, like a couple of seats, and just turns over, and there's just a bar sitting there.
That's
like,
awesome, man.
Oh, God, that's so stupid.
You guys are coming to Van Andel Arena June 16th with the Get Rollin' Tour. It's the first stop, the U.S. stop. You got a couple shows in Canada before you get here. Now, I've been here talking with a lot of bands, and they keep talking about production costs are just through the roof. Are you guys still bringing that massive production in?
We are. And, again, the insight, brother. Costs of touring didn't go up. Costs of touring tripled.
Wow.
It's just like, it's so hard to even comprehend. Like, you get numbers back from these companies, right? The big screen, the lights, the sound, the staging, bro, the everything. It's just like, it's so expensive. But the thing we can't do is we can't triple the price of our tickets.
Right.
No one's going to show up. We raised them a little bit, but I looked at the boys and I said, all right, so we're going to have to make a little bit of a commitment on our end here. Like, we're probably not going to make as much money as we could on this tour. Because, it's always nice to come home with a paycheck in your pocket after busting your ass for, show after show after show after show after country after country after country after country. It's always nice to be like, hey, that's hard work. That's what that looks like. It's nice to get paid for it. But I said to the guys, I go, hey, because it's always me. I always come up with the dumb ideas, and I'm the one that like, you guys, let's bring the big show. We haven't been out in 5 years. Maybe we'll put a few less dollars in the jeans, but I think this is going to go a long way with the fans, and everybody agreed. So yeah, we're. This is the let's not make any money tour.
Oh, man. Well, I tell you what, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. It's been a while, but, man, it's always a good time. That's for sure.
Oh, thanks, brother. That's the Nessie. Now we got to get the Jeagerbombs going.
Yeah, there you go. We started it, man.
Can't wait. It's always a good time. I can't believe, like, dude, this has been a fabulous interview. And, like, if I could just keep this one, I think I'm on with Chicago next.
Okay.
Keep talking to you. I would just rather just talk to you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. But like I said, I thought you guys got a raw deal, and I thought I'd try to explain why a while back. Because, man, I've seen the band. I was like, man, have you ever seen them? Go see them, man. Plus, there's a ton of women there. Come on.
Vinnie Paul and Dimebag used to say the same thing all the time. They're like, when the metal community would come down on those guys, be like, what's with this love for Nickelback? I don't get it. And they would say the same thing, and they would defend us. And it was really, really lovely. And they were like, go watch them play. And then say they suck, or then say something negative about them. Because, my favorite thing is when someone comes to the show and they go, I honestly wouldn't call myself a fan, but I would definitely go see that show again. That I'm like, I'll take that all day long. That's a hell of a compliment.
Hey, since you brought up Dime and Vinnie, man, I thought that was real cool how you guys did Side of a Bullet. And then you had the video up on stage, working with Vinnie on that and getting that up. So, paying that tribute to Dime. that was really, really cool, man. And it was a great song, too.
Oh, thanks, brother. Yeah, that one hurt.
Yeah.
That hurt. Like, ugh, you know, I had a tough time, really tough time with that one for such a long time. You know, you'd see him on a guitar magazine or something like that, and I'd be standing there, you know, in a grocery store, and my girlfriend would go to pull me. She's like, "Come on, let's go," and she can't move me, and then she looks over and there's just tears streaming down my face, and I'm like, "Oh," she's like, "Do you want to go home?" I'm like, "Yep, I want to go home right now."
It's definitely a tough one for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And then later losing Vinnie too. My gosh, a double whammy, you know, because for me growing up, it started off with the Young brothers of AC/DC, then the Van Halen brothers of Van Halen, and it was the Abbott brothers of Pantera, man. I was just like, those two guys meant a lot to me too, man.
Talented, down home, amazing individuals. And Jerry Cantrell from House in Chains actually introduced me to them. And like we were on tour together, and he goes, "Hey, you're going to meet the brothers tonight." And we were pulling into Dallas, and I said, "The brothers?" He goes, "Yeah, buddy, you'll see." And I didn't even know what the hell he meant at first. And the next thing I know,
the brothers, that's so cool.
Yeah, I got Diamond Vinnie on my bus, and I was just like, "Dude, this is the coolest day of my life." Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, hey, Chad, I appreciate you sharing, and you have a good run. We'll see you in a few weeks, and, you know, enjoy life and have fun. We can't wait to see the show, man.
Thanks, brother. Be safe.